Thank you. I am joined today. We're here with Matt Young. He is a video game developer, as I'm sure many of you know. I have his itch.io page pulled up here. He has a few projects here. But yes, Matt, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I am jealous of your nice matte background. I just have this I got like a painting in the background and
At least you're showing off
very
your work.
messy room.
This is it's not as fancy as some might think. This is just like a a sheet. I have a son who I am in his playroom right now, so you don't have to see all that stuff. But
Okay.
yes, yeah. I mean, is that did you draw? Did you paint that?
This painting right here, this is my wife.
Okay, cool.
And she's a painter.
Nice. That's
I
so
I I do some traditional art, but not a whole lot.
okay. Yeah. So is that like you kind of got did, did that kind of just lead naturally into game development? I know we're just jumping right into it, but is that
Yeah.
kind of led you down that path?
So really interesting story actually about my game development, how I got into it. So when I was around 8 or 9 years old, as a little kid, there was this game I really wanted to play called Turok. I don't know if you've heard
Okay.
of it.
Sure have.
Kind of a big name.
Sure.
Um, and my parents were pretty strict on not having adult games in the house, and I was like rated M or A or whatever it was back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's like the only cool dinosaur game that
Mhm.
existed at that time period. I feel like I couldn't find any others. So I would beg my parents, and no, you're not getting it. And so I went on my computer and I typed into Google game maker. I want to make my own game.
Yeah.
And I came up with the first version of game maker,
What?
which used to not be as nice and polished as is now. But
Yeah.
that's actually at 8 years old. I went and I started playing around with game design engines and trying to make my own dinosaur game because my parents wouldn't buy it for me.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. But that's crazy. That's an amazing story that you just stumbled upon that. I mean, like, how long ago? I mean, was that when Turok was relevant? I'm assuming Turok 64.
Yeah, it was 64. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that was like 20 years ago, almost
Yeah.
by now. That's wild. I didn't even know Game Maker Studio was around then.
I know it was called Game Maker Studio 6 or 7 by Yo-Yo Games. Still,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was old, but
That's wild. Cool. So jumping back to your work, when you was working at the factory kind of the tipping point where you were like, I want to take this to the next level? You're like, I am done with this, you know, I can't do it anymore, and I'm jumping in headlong? Or was there something different that kind of pushed you to take it to the next level, take it seriously? Not that you weren't taking it
I would
seriously.
say I've tried to take the jump previously. Before I got the job at the factory, obviously I was working on the game and I did a Kickstarter. I don't think I really understood a lot about life and growing up, and so once I moved out and I had to pay for my own place and I was married, and I started working at the factory. Yeah, I just realized that I can't do that
Yeah.
as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot. So I would get really angry and I'd be tired all the time. And my social life just went in the dumpster. And yeah, I just got to a point working at that factory job where I was like, I can't keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was funny, for 3 months I actually took a D20.
Okay.
I play Dungeons and Dragons. I took a D20 and I
Yeah.
would roll it in front of all my coworkers, and I said, the day that I roll a 20, I'm quitting.
Oh man.
And I didn't roll it for 3 months.
Jeez.
But I would do that every day because I just hated working there.
Yeah.
So that was the tipping point for me. Was I had worked for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty much a year on the dot at this factory job, and I was like, I hate this. I can't do this the rest of my life, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
For the amount of money I was being
Yeah.
paid, I was like, I'd rather. Yeah,
Take a
no.
chance. So you finally rolled the D20, I assume.
So when I started rolling the D20, I was like, I'm gonna quit the second it hits a 20.
Yeah.
But it took so long. By the time I actually rolled the 20, I rolled the 20. I walked out of work. I sat in my car for 5 minutes, and then I went, I can't quit. I need the money.
Yeah.
I walked back into work.
Money is very important. Yeah.
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 I'm at the point where I'm not actually too concerned about money and being poor. I can't live this way my whole life, but
For
I'm
now.
definitely incredibly poor. Like,
Well,
um,
I mean, this is the time to do it. You know,
yeah.
you have, you know, your wife who is bringing in some income, and you have a Patreon, and
Yep.
yeah, I checked out. I stalked you for a little bit to learn more about your story, but yeah, you got your Patreon. You're bringing in something, you know, and you don't have any children yet, so this is the time, you know. And
Yep.
I mean, for demo the other day for Feathered
Oh,
Serpent.
that's an old demo, but
I mean, it was great. I got to the end. I was like, "Where? I want more. You know, give me some more."
oh, nice.
Yeah. I just got finished playing Dead Cells for the first time the other like 3 months ago, and it reminded me so
Okay.
much of that. And
Oh,
yeah, just because you pick up different items along the way of Dead Cells and stuff like that. So
yeah. I've never played Dead Cells.
Oh,
It's on my
yeah.
wish list, so
Mhm.
that's interesting. Maybe I gotta check that out.
yeah, it was been on my wish list for like ever, and then the Castlevania thing came out, so I was like, okay, I gotta try this out. So
I was also tempted.
yes, so I finally made the jump, and I was like, man, this is perfect. This is so similar to this, and I really enjoyed it. Do you have like a timeline for this game? Like, maybe you don't want to share. I don't know, but
Yeah. So funny story. My timeline. The game is supposed to be released November 16th of 2022.
November 16th of 2022. Okay.
Yeah, and we're 2023.
Yeah.
That was the timeline.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm just barely missing it by a little bit.
Yeah.
We got some delayed release.
Okay. Hey, you know, it
Yeah.
happens.
Tentatively, I don't think I've ever said this anywhere.
Mhm.
I am aiming at a July, I believe July 20th.
July
June or-
20th.
No, I think June. I'm sorry, June 20th. Somewhere around June or July is when I
Okay.
hope to have the game out.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So
And you're releasing on Steam. Is that right?
yeah, I'm gonna release a couple places. I'll go Steam, Epic Games. A few
Nice.
days ago, just barely opened up their store for indie
Really?
publishers to publish on there. They made it a lot more easier.
Cool.
Itch.io,
Mhm. Yep.
GOG.com, good old games.
Yeah.
But I want to release it on as many platforms as possible.
Absolutely.
I am planning on doing a Kickstarter in the next like month.
Yeah, I have it pulled up here actually. It's something with my internet or whatever. It's not loading right now. But yeah,
No, it's all good.
yeah, I saw that. I saw you
So-
posted right before this. I was like, oh, hey, let's check this out.
Yep.
But yeah, very
So
cool.
that Kickstarter, the point of it, I mean, I'm gonna make the game no matter what. It's being
Yeah.
finished.
Sure.
Like, and actually, if you on my devlogs, I always update a percentage every week. So I'm
Okay.
at this point, I'm at I think 58% done with
Nice.
the game. So that's more than halfway.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the whole point of the Kickstarter is just to involve people more
Mhm.
and to potentially make the game bigger than it could be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I had this idea for the game, and it wasn't getting made. I was like, okay, I need to cut down the scope. So I cut down the scope in half, and then I recommend everyone do this. I cut it in half, and then I took what I had left and I cut that in half.
Okay.
And
Yes.
so there's a ton of content that like I had planned that is no longer in the game. In fact, part of the demo I think doesn't even exist in my game anymore. I don't know if there's like you went to the caves or something,
Yes.
but like yeah, there's like a cave system and like a different jungle area. I completely just took them out of the game. Like
Yeah.
I can't make that many areas in my game.
Mm-hmm.
So I had originally planned the game with like 20 areas, cut it down to 10,
Okay.
cut it down to 5. So
Okay.
there's only going to be 5 areas.
Yeah. Nice.
3 of them are above 90% complete.
Nice.
So
Yes. Yeah.
anyways,
What were you gonna say? Oh, is that?
I was just gonna say, yeah, so that's why I'm doing the Kickstarter. It's
Mhm.
like, hey, like there are these things that I would like to bring back. but
Okay. Yeah.
I can't bring these things back unless I have, more money,
Yeah.
essentially. So
Yeah, I've heard many people go that route of cutting it and then cutting it again just to, kind of get the scope in check, because I mean, I feel like every dev, myself included, does that. They dream so big. It's like, I just want all these things, and then reality hits, and
yeah.
time is the enemy there. What tools do you use? Is there any like tools that you like that you use to help you in your process? Like, do you write down all your ideas somewhere specifically? Do you use, I know a lot of people use Trello to, kind of manage their time a little better and kind of get their ideas down? Do you use anything like that?
I do something. I learned what it was called yesterday, but I think I already forgot it. It's called the jumping method, and usually it's used in studying. But basically, when I'm working on my game, to preserve like motivation, I do what I want to do.
Okay.
And if you do, and because it's a solo project, there's so many different facets that I can go into. There's music, sound design, enemy design, programming, artwork, animation. There's like so much I could do.
Yeah.
And so really, I sit down for the day and I go, okay, what do I want to work on? Like, what is drawing attention to me? And then I'll go there. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to do the art today. Or today, I really want to work on the music. So that helps me actually be invested in what I'm doing and get a lot done, even if it is a little all over the place. Another skill that I use is writing things down and then organizing them out in a list. So I'll create like a list of boxes and I outline them for every area of my game.
Okay.
Okay, what is missing from each area that I need to finish?
Okay.
And then actually, I can send it to you. Yeah, so I did this a while ago, and it really helps. This is an outdated one. I don't know where the current one is. I just was searching real quick. But basically, I'll come in here, and I'll say, okay, what do I need to finish the forest? Like, these are the things that are missing. Orange or red is done.
Okay.
Orange is what I want to finish this week.
Okay.
Dark orange is what I want to finish in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then, so that's kind of how I prioritize things. I'm like, hey, I need to get these done. There's the 5 different areas. And then this is just kind of in general stuff on the far right here. So I have like the save system, which I finished a while ago. That's why I know that this one's outdated.
Okay.
But then as I'm finishing stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I can cross it out.
Nice.
And then every 2 that I cross off equates a percentage. And so then I can come over here once I've knocked out 2.
Nice.
And I can draw it in or whatever, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm at the next 51%.
Nice. And so
this is amazing.
You just made that up. You made that?
Yeah, this helped me so much.
Wow.
Just outlining it into this way, because it really lets you see, like, oh, like, this is exactly what I need to do.
So that's everything you need to do to complete the game. That's everything.
Yep. Game's done after I finish everything on this.
That's amazing. I might go do that after this. That is fantastic. And you just drew that up in Paint?
Yep. And I kept in mind when doing this. So this is actually, I've tried this 4 or 5 different times. This is the 5th iteration, so it looks nice and fancy. My first couple ones were just very rough. Like, I think I do have an old one here. Like, it looked like, oh, it actually says it had an error opening it. What about this one? Like, this is what it looked like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, super, even the boxes themselves, like, here's a great example real quick. This is for the boss. So it says, finish the boss roughs, finish his line art, finish the colors, finish the polish, finish the coating, all for the boss.
Okay.
On my new one, I'm like, finish the boss art, finish his code. Like, I took like 8 boxes and condensed them into one. So basically what I'm trying to say is I try to keep every box like the same amount of time.
Okay,
so like,
interesting.
I know that the boss is going to take a long time. What is an equivalent amount of time? Well, the music for my game takes 3 to 4 hours. Okay, the boss code will take me 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
The boss art is not going to take me 3 to 4 hours, but we don't talk about that. But that's, so then I have it's relatively even everywhere. So I can gauge myself and be like, okay, I average 5 boxes a week. I know the game's going to be done in July.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my tentative release date.
Wow.
So
that is
anyways
impressive.
That's how I am currently managing my game. I used to do that exact same thing, but on paper.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure I have the papers all over here, but
I believe you. That's great. I bet that is so helpful. I literally am probably gonna work something out like that after this. That is and I'm sure viewers will absolutely take a ton of amazing information from that. Is there up here soon? But is there any advice that you would want to impart on people watching this that you think would be helpful for the people at home?
Helpful advice.
Yeah.
I just start doing it. Would just be my advice. I think that the thing that helps me the most is when I sit down, I just have to start doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know if you've seen Lord of the Rings, but it's the Samwise Gamgee quote or whatever. It froze like, how are we ever gonna get it up to Mount Doom? And Samwise says, one step at a time. Like, we're going up. It's like the same with your video game. Like, how am I gonna do this? Well, one at a time. Especially with the boss. It's like, dude, I don't want to do this. Okay, I've done this so many times. It's such a neat trick. I go, okay, I'm just going to detail the green part of his body.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I have to do. Okay, and then once I do that, I'm just going to draw his claws. Like, that's all I'm gonna do right now.
Yeah.
And then after I'm done with that, I'll reassess the situation. And I find that once I do that, it helps me kind of break through those, like, the anxiety or whatever it is, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually here. So that's my biggest advice. Just one step at a time. How do I create this big thing? Okay, what's the first thing that I can do? What's the smallest thing that I can do? Like, maybe it's, okay, I'm just gonna open up my game program. Okay, now I'm just gonna, anyways, that's my advice.
That's fantastic advice, actually. Because you kind of trick yourself into doing more than just doing the shading of the tail. It kind of just leads into. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I know we went over time, but I think this was fantastic, and people are going to learn a lot from you specifically, and your journey in this crazy journey for you. So yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, this was great. I hope that something that I've said helps someone out there, and you can play my games. They're both pretty fun.
Yes.
I'm gonna be updating the demo here for the Feathered Serpent in like 2 weeks, so you can check that out. And then I would just say that, for both you and me, when it comes to like Steam wish lists and like the Kickstarter pre-back page, even if you're watching and you have no intent of buying the game, right, it still helps the developer to wishlist it and follow the Kickstarter page. Even if you're like, dude, I'm not gonna do it, just wishlisting it, doing that, it tells Kickstarter, it tells Steam that, hey, let's promote this to more people. So even if that's all you can do, is like, okay, I will just go wishlist this. That helps me a ton. So
I mean, I didn't know that, and I'm sure a lot of other people didn't know that. So I mean, that's fantastic. Yeah, I will absolutely go do that myself.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Matt.
Everyone go check out the Feathered Serpent, which will be coming out here soon, and we will see you next time.
See ya.